Thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo Melcher, recording live in my parents' basement. I'm trying to figure out a name for the studio. I don't know if it's just basement studios or I threw my kids call my mom Mimi and my dad Appa, so I was thinking about Mimi Appa Studios or Appa Mimi Studios. I don't know. If you have an idea, reach out to me at nerdballpodcast@gmail.com. As always, thanks to all of you for always liking, sharing, subscribing, downloading the podcast. That means a lot that when you do all that to help the podcast grow. Don't forget about the YouTube channel. I'm still losing the fight to my son, who's slowly gaining ground on my YouTube followers. So please subscribe. If you can go there, that'd be awesome. And yeah, I think that's it. Again, if you want to be on the podcast, reach out at the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com. Same thing on all social media, just search Nerdball Podcast. So thanks as always, and enjoy the episode.
I am Erin O'Rear, and this is the Nerdball Podcast.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Hey, Erin, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I saw a post that my friend or our friend Chelsea shared. I was like, oh, this seems like a new person and someone that might want to come on. And I'm always like, I'm going to ask. And if they say no, they say no. But you said yes pretty quickly. So.
Yes, definitely. I mean, especially today, I was kind of looking for any excuse to get out of the house and get away from my kids. It's going to be a really long weekend, a snow day with a long weekend. You know, it's great. We're having a good time.
Yeah, and that's what my wife works from home, so she was home with our kids, and I don't know how old your kids are, but mine are 13 and 10, so they can kind of do their own thing now. Yeah. We got my son a gaming computer for Christmas, so he's just in his room all the time. But I imagine if you have younger kids, yes. I know she used to tell me my daughter used to slip her notes like, "Can I have a snack?" And like she's leading a training, and she's doing these little notes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, mine are 7, 5, and 2, so can't really do anything for themselves, and. We love them, but oh my goodness, there's been a lot of snow days lately.
Yeah, and if they're back to back, or this one was one a week last week and one this week, it does feel like, I would imagine if you're at home, like, oh my gosh. It's too many.
No, I mean today was good. It was the first day, right? But and then also my oldest is all of a sudden she wants to watch Harry Potter with me, so I'm really happy about that. So that was nice. All but right. Yeah, we'll see the next few days.
Let's say they have a day off tomorrow and a day off Monday, so now it's a 5-day weekend now.
Yes, it's great.
Would they play outside in the snow? You get them all dressed up? Would they go outside? Well, maybe the two older ones.
My oldest, she'll do it for a few minutes, and then my 5-year-old, she knows her limits. Okay. She's like, I do not like that, and I'm not going to. And I respect that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to do it either. Good for you. So
all right.
I know it's that time of year when you just can't. Everybody's stuck inside, and we're also just all of our friends have been sick, so I'm just waiting for that to hit our house. It's a good time.
Yeah. I don't know. I have this picture I took of my daughter. She was probably like 2 or 3. And she's watching my son play outside in the snow. And my son's by himself. And I was like, why didn't I get her dressed? And like, why is she just in here? She's like leaning against the glass. Her head's against the glass, just watching him play out in the yard.
I always think too, it's one of those things where you get them all dressed, you get all, sweaty and out of breath. You finally get them outside. And then, maybe 10 minutes later, they want to come back in. So is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I just talked myself out of it. Or I talked to her. I was like, you don't really want to go. You can watch.
Exactly.
All right, Erin, the first thing I always ask people is, what is something you're nerding out about? Something you're really into, a TV show, movies, a hobby, something to get away from your daily grind, I guess.
I mean, I guess my biggest so I love Bravo programming, Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, rest in peace, Southern Charm.
Wait, what was that other one?
Vanderpump Rules. I don't know if you heard
of these shows. I've never watched them, but I've heard of them.
There was like Scandival a few years ago.
Oh, really?
That like the world knew about. Like 2 of the cast members were having an affair, and oh my gosh. So yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Okay.
I have spent embarrassing amounts of money going to like housewife appearances. Like
really?
My best friend and I just went to see one of them has a cabaret show and she travels around, and we went to see her in Detroit in December. So yeah, so just stuff like that.
Are you ever, when you spend your money on these things, are you ever let down by what happens, or you just love it so much?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It was like right before COVID hit. I went to go see one of the Vanderpump Rules cast members. She Stassi has like this podcast and she does a show, and it was the worst thing ever. Oh my gosh, it was so terrible the whole time. I was just like, oh my God, can you believe this? But whatever. It's still a fun experience, right? You're with all these people that like this thing that you enjoy.
That's what I would get out of it too. Like I've seen a couple seen a couple podcasts, live podcasts too. And the first one I took to my wife, with my wife, and I had a good time. It was a tiny theater at Kent State University, and there was about 50 people there, maybe. And I had a good time. She did not.
Yeah.
And I knew that. Then we just went to see another podcast. What was it? Criminal.
Okay.
We saw that in Detroit, and that was fun. And we both, but the aspect of like all these people like what I like, and it's cool to like see this thing.
That's I mean, it's fun. Like before it starts, and you talk to people about, oh my gosh, I saw this. Did you see that? And just I don't know, talk about all these niche shows that you all are into.
Yeah, the reason I asked too about like the expectations is my wife, for the past 20 years, maybe even longer, has been going to see O-Town.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's at least once a year.
They're still performing?
Yes.
They're still touring?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Okay.
Yes,
nice.
So she sees them at least once a year, wherever. It's usually around Cleveland or Detroit or Columbus or something, and there's this little stage or little area the size of my parents' basement, and they're performing, and they love it, and they get their pictures taken, they get autographs, they do the whole thing.
That is so funny. I would never have thought that they would have still been together. The band's still together, I guess.
I think there's maybe one that's not there anymore. Maybe is Ashley Parker Angel? Was he in one?
Yeah.
I think he was in there, and I think that's the one that doesn't come anymore.
Oh, okay. He's too big for his britches or something. I don't know.
Too big for O-Town.
Yes.
Who knows what he's doing now? No one.
I don't know. I'd like to know.
That's funny. So have you been into these Bravo shows for a while?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. So I think it started. I mean, so like I'd watch Laguna Beach, and I've always been into reality TV. Like back in high school and everything, I would watch like like Flavor of Love and just all of those shows. Just terrible, terrible programming that I had no business watching back then. But oh my gosh, I always have loved it. And then I just kind of, as like the Housewives started, I started getting into that. And then in college, my friends and I would just sit around and watch it. And so, I mean, I've just always been super into that stuff. I don't really, I mean, like there's some, I mean, I shouldn't say I don't watch scripted TV, because I do watch some things, but I mean, reality TV is my thing. I don't know. And even now, like I'll watch like 600-Pound Life. My husband hates it. So like I don't get to watch it as much as I would, but stuff like that, like TLC, like I was really into 90 Day Fiance. My husband would actually watch that one with me. Okay. But that got, I don't know, it just got too much, but
we used to, I think TLC, was that the one that had K+8?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we used to watch that when they were all on there. And then like at the beginning, we're like, man, she kind of treats them like garbage. And then fast forward, then they get a divorce. Like, it was probably a lot.
Like, yes, I was picking up on that. Okay, good. It wasn't just me. Yes. Oh, I know. That's like all the housewife shows and stuff. They call it like the second season curse. And, they'll come back with their new faces and then be getting a divorce. And so it's like, you can always kind of see when it's happening.
Okay. When you mentioned Flavor of Love, the only thing I remember is the episode where Pumpkin spit on I forget her name.
New York. Yes.
And I remember watching that. I'm like, first of all, spit is so gross to me, and she just this just this loogie on her face.
Oh my gosh, yes, it was definitely. It was horrible. I actually saw Flavor Flav at the Detroit Grand Prix a few years ago, and I tried to get a picture with him, and he wouldn't take one with me. So I just have a picture of me like running kind of behind him and like smiling. My friend was taking it.
Did he just say no, or did he just walk?
He just straight up said no and kept walking away. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So I was like, I love Flavor of Love. Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Take a picture? No. That's fun. That's crazy. Well, when you're not watching reality TV, what do you do?
So I stay at home.
Okay.
I did work. So I have 3 daughters. They're 7, 5, and 2, like I said, and they obviously take up most of my time.
Yeah.
But no, I also am vice president of the Frank Parents Club.
Okay.
So our little like PTA over there, that's what we call it. And I love doing that. It's so much. That's like one of those jobs, like people say like there's like a thankless job, and like that is a job where like everybody appreciates you, and it's just so much fun to do stuff for the teachers and the kids and put on all those events and stuff. And so I love doing that. And then I worked at Channel 11 for, I was a producer there.
Okay.
When I left, I was doing the 6 o'clock and we had a 6:30 on Fox. So I would do that. But it's not a great industry for family. I mean, it's the hours are terrible and the pay is not great.
Okay.
And so it was kind of a good time when I got out. I mean,
did you have any aspirations to be on TV?
Nope, I never.
Okay.
And even doing this right now.
So this is the extent of your.
Yes, I have like a face for newspaper, like, and just like a voice for paper and a face for radio. That's what I always say. And so I never wanted to be on air, but sorry for everybody who has to listen to this.
No.
But I was behind the camera, telling everybody what to do, writing everything, yelling at everybody, just doing all that fun stuff. And it was a good time. It was a really good experience. But
how long did you do that for?
I did it for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I left in 2017, right before we had our first kid.
Okay.
And the rest is history.
Nice. Yeah, I was just on, I know it's not on Channel 11. I was on 13 ABC yesterday. I did an interview spot with for the Metro Parks. I work for the Metro Parks.
Oh, nice.
So they do Metro Parks meetup every 2 weeks. So they just do something with us. And I've done it a couple times, but I enjoy it. I like being interviewed. I like talking because I like working at the Metro Parks. So there's a lot of cool things to get to talk about. Yeah.
I know, we have so many good parks. Like, we're so lucky. I don't know. My other kind of nerdy thing is I like to ride my bike, and I don't like to say cycling because I don't want people to think I'm athletic at all, because I'm not. But I do love riding my bike around, and just my kids are kind of finally old enough that like we can do that together. Because when they're little, it's harder. Whatever. But so I'm finally getting to get back into exploring and seeing things.
Yeah. Did you get one of those carts that you hook to the back?
Oh yeah.
I love those things.
I know. We so my daughters have gone to preschool over at Union. This is my off year. We were there for 4 years, so like back to back, and then we'll be back again in the fall. But I like to ride from our house. I take them over there. It's kind of easier than driving in mommy. So
very, very true. Yeah.
So I like to do that, and we have our little trailer. I just hook them up and I go.
My dad had one of those for my youngest sister. There's an 8-year age gap between me and her, and he had one of those. We would take her around, and then sometimes he'd say, "Hey, can you go get some groceries?" And he'd give me a list, and I'd take that to the grocery store and load up everything that we needed and then drive it back.
I love it. I know. There's so much room in those things, especially ours. We have like a nice like place for cargo behind where they sit. So I'm like, this is awesome. I can just pack this thing up. But
that's cool. Yeah. All right. So cycling, TV.
Yeah.
Are the kids into cycling? I shouldn't say cycling. Sorry, riding your bike as much as you
they're
are.
definitely into being pulled around. My oldest is so funny. She's super tall for her age. Like everybody is like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought she's a first grader. She's just one of those kids. None of her clothes fit her correctly, and but she has zero muscle on her body. So we'll go on a bike ride, and the whole time it's like, this is the worst thing. My legs have never been this tired. I'm like, sorry, girl.
It is. It's part of it. You're in it now.
Last year, I tried to tell her, like, you're getting ready for Disney World. You're getting your Disney legs. But now I don't know what I have to dangle in front of her face this year. So I don't know.
Are you a fan of Disney?
Yes. Yeah. We're kind of.
I love it.
I know. Like, I hate to admit that we're Disney adults, but we kind of are.
Have you done it by yourself? Just you and your husband?
Yeah. We went for our honeymoon. Okay. So my best friend got married the weekend after us. So we were like, we're just going to do a quick thing. And so we went and we stayed at the Grand Floridian and we did all that. And then we went to Universal for a night or two and stayed at the Portofino there, which is their nice one. And it was really fun.
Yeah. I love Disney. Last time we went to Florida, it was Universal.
Okay.
We had never been there, so that was fun. And we want to go back next year so we can see like the new park.
Yes.
I forget what it's called.
I know. I can't remember the
I always
name
forget,
of it.
but yeah. So we want to go back. We're gonna go back or try to go back next year because it is so much fun. I've said it on this podcast a lot. You either love it or you hate it.
Yes, exactly. I know. My brother is so funny. He has no desire to go ever.
Yeah.
Like his wife will go with her family, and they just went, and he's like, "No, I don't want to go."
He did. Oh my god.
I'm like, whatever.
Oh, it's so funny. I was trying to tell my friend. He went with his family, and it was paid for by his in-laws. I was like, how can you have a bad time? You're not even spending money.
Yes,
you know,
I know.
So crazy.
I know. We always joke. We're like, you just have to give your wallet to the mouse. Just give up your control. It's not in your hands anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so much fun. I love it. And it's so hard to talk to someone who doesn't like it.
I know. Well, and especially when you have little kids, it really is just, I don't know. It really is magical. I mean, you sound so corny saying it, but it's true. They love it.
The first time we went, my kids were 7 and 4.
Okay, perfect.
And we were there a whole week. The last night we were leaving, we left Magic Kingdom as the fireworks going off for the fireworks show.
Okay.
So we're walking out in the stroller, and I'm crying. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I go, "We're leaving this place. The kids would never be this young again." And she's like, "It's okay. It'll be fine."
Oh my gosh.
Whatever happens.
I love it. I know. It just, something takes over you. You're just like, I don't know. It's just great. I don't want to ever leave. Do you guys go and do one park a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've only done it. We've done park hoppers and tried to just cram as much as we can.
Nope. That's too. So the first time we went, we did one park a day, but we were rope droppers and then stayed to the end.
Yeah.
And
okay.
that was a long day. And then the second time we went to Disney, we knew all right, well, we don't have to rope drop everything unless there's something specific we want to ride. Then we'll do that. And then every night we came back at 6 or 7 and had a good meal sitting down somewhere. And was less stressful.
Nice.
And Universal was the same way. Because the parks are smaller, we were able to do one park each day and then go back to other ones and stuff. But we did have to buy the park hopper so we could ride the Harry Potter train.
Yes.
But it was a lot easier. And they're old. As they get older, it's a lot easier too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know. Oh my gosh. So we took our 2-year-old, and so she was free, but just all the stuff we had to take. Just had to take the double stroller, push that around all day.
Yeah. When we went to Universal, I think each park we were at, we split up because my son and I were riding all the roller coasters. And my wife didn't want to, so we rode all the roller coasters. Eventually, met up again, but so that made stuff quicker too.
Yeah,
just getting through everything.
See, I don't like big rides, so I'm good with just kind of sitting back with whichever of the kids doesn't want to do it, and then my husband does the bigger rides, or we went with the grandparents this last time, so we all just kind of. It was like a divide and conquer sort of strategy, but
and that's why Disney's good too, is because they have just a lot of small rides or slow rides, or you're driving cars around or whatever.
Exactly. Yes, there's so many options.
Yeah. Well, when you're not on vacation, you live in Perrysburg. Did you grow up around here?
I did not. I grew up. We lived in Point Place in Toledo till I was 12, and
I bounced at a bar out there, the Orr House.
Okay.
I was a bouncer when I probably shouldn't have been.
There was a bouncer there? It's like a little dive bar,
When I was there was 5 of us.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was 17 or 18. I think it just out of high school, so maybe 18 or 19.
Okay.
Yeah, there was 5 of us there.
So funny. If I'm thinking of the right place,
Orr House
I guess.
is right on the water.
Oh, no, I know where that is. Yeah. It's
right
like,
on the water.
Okay, yeah. No, I do know exactly. I'm very surprised that there was a bouncer there.
I think there was beach volleyball, too, outside.
Yeah. It was by where the old Kroger was back in the day.
It got wild
over there.
It got wild on the weekends.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That is
wild. We had to kick people out several times, and it was.
Okay.
And I felt good because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", and I was, of the 5 of us, I was the fourth biggest. So there was these other dudes that were way bigger than me. So I'm like, I can look at an ID. So sure. Yeah.
I love it.
But anyway, I interrupt you. So you were working at, you lived in Point Place?
Yeah. We lived there until I was 12. We moved to Monroe, and then I bought a house there when I started working in downtown Toledo. After college.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then when obviously my husband and I got married, we bought our house here in Perrysburg. He lived at Preston Gardens over at Levis.
Yeah.
So, we actually met at Bar Louie at Levis
Oh, sure.
on New Year's Eve in 2013.
You're both just single at New Year's Eve at
Yes.
Bar Louie?
Yes. I was
All
there
right.
with my friend Michelle and her sister Amy. And like, so just before midnight, we were like, let's walk around. Let's see who's here. I don't know why we started talking, but
Yeah.
he and I started talking and we like
Okay.
knew somebody in common. And then it was midnight and I was like, so you're going to kiss me or
No.
what? Because that's the thing too about my husband is like, so he's an engineer and he is just like your typical, like, just wonderful little engineer, nerdy, like just he's such an angel. Like I love him so much. He's just such a wholesome human being. And like, yeah, just I mean, if I hadn't made moves, yeah, we never would have nothing would have happened. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. When you were in Point Place, what did you do when you were a kid? What did you do growing up? Were you into sports or
No,
plays or anything? Or?
So, I mean, I kind of would try everything,
Okay.
but like my daughter, I was very like lanky and awkward and not very good at anything. So I would try things and then quit things. And I know that's the thing when you're tall, people are like, oh, I bet you played basketball. I bet you played volleyball. It's like, no, not me. I just am a tall girl with giant feet. Like, that's not my thing.
That's my daughter. My daughter's 10. She's very tall.
Yeah.
I try to get her to play basketball. She does the basketball camp because I coach, so she does the camp.
Okay, at least she does it.
Yeah. I try to get her volleyball. She doesn't want, but she's into baton. She's been in
Okay.
baton since she's 10. She's been doing it since she was 4.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
But yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I'm sure when she gets older, it's like, oh, are you going to play basketball? I was like, no, I can't even dribble.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you want me to juggle 3 batons, I can. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah. So she probably knows like Kensley and Maisie. And
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. They. Yeah. Love them.
Yeah.
They're my neighbors.
Oh,
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, they are a very big help to her.
Yeah.
They were on, Maisie was on the podcast with another Perrysburg twirler,
Okay.
Ellie Gar. She's at Illinois now. but
Okay.
They were on the podcast, and my daughter listens to that podcast at least once a week.
Are you
And
serious?
she recites, if I said, all right, beginning, and she word for word, she knows the whole podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, Lillian, thank
That's
you
so
for the
funny.
watch, but
They're such sweet girls. I
Yeah,
love them
yeah.
so much. Kensley helped us out the other night at our parents' club meeting, and
oh yeah,
yeah,
oh nice.
babysat. We do like babysitting.
Oh, okay,
to
okay.
try to get people to come.
Oh yeah, like hey, if you're looking, even if you have your kids, it's
Yep.
okay.
Can run around the gym.
So no basketball, or volleyball, or anything
No.
growing up. What'd you do?
I mean, you know, I guess I just I don't know. I've always been like very annoyingly outgoing and just always trying always in everybody's business and you know just I don't know. So I think that's part of like just going into journalism that I feel like that's probably why I decided to do it because
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like you just have to want to know what's going on. You got to be nosy. Kind
Sure.
of.
That's why I do this podcast. I love information.
Yes.
Like it doesn't have to pertain to me. I just like knowing things, and it's fun. I learn things.
Yes.
So that's why I like it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't know. I was a cheerleader in high school,
Okay.
but I mean it was just sideline cheerleading, so nothing too impressive.
I mean, you
just,
gotta be able to jump, right?
just gotta be loud
Splits,
and yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
Loud? Yeah. You're.
Loud and kind of flexible. You're good to go.
If anybody said, if you would have told people you have to be a cheerleader, do people go, "Yep, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
I see that."
Yeah. That like a cheerleader and a sorority girl, like yes, like that never surprises anybody ever. Like
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Western Michigan in Kalamazoo.
okay.
Go Broncos. You know, we never went to the games or did any of that.
No, nothing?
No, I accidentally went to a game one time.
Wait a minute.
We had been at a tailgate, and then I was kind of walking by the stadium, and the police were there, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to go to the game for a little bit. And that was it. That's the only time I ever went to a game.
Anything? Basketball? Nothing?
No. Nope.
Wow.
I know. We just didn't do it. Like, I always laugh when people are like, oh, yeah, we'd go to the football games. And I'm like, oh, we did not.
No?
We
Oh,
did
man,
not do that.
I went to BG for a couple semesters, but even I went to football games.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like it helped that I knew a person on the team I went to grade school with, and then my buddies played baseball at Bowling Green, so they would have to work the games from time to time. So I'd
Okay.
go with them and just mess around and do whatever.
Nice.
But yeah, that's crazy that you're just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. No.
Do you did you go when you decided to go into Western, did you go with anybody from high school? Or did you
No.
just have to meet new people?
Well, I mean, there were a few people from high school who did also go to Western, but we didn't go like together. It was, I went, my roommate, she, it was so funny because I went to Catholic school and she also went to Catholic school, and, it was just like the two of us. And then, we didn't know each other, but, we got along really well. And then, her friend from high school, she really didn't like her roommate. And so my friend Ashley would sleep on our floor every single night the whole year. And
Wow.
So we had like technically 3 of us in there, but we loved it. I don't know. We all just had a good time.
So you just moving in, meeting new people. And,
yeah. And then,
That's cool.
mean, obviously, like, joined a sorority and lived in the house for a few years, and it was just the best experience. College just really was like the best time ever. Yeah, but I mean, growing up's nice too.
Sure. Well, there's a reason that's just part of your life, right?
Exactly.
There's grade school. There's 4 years of high school. There's another 4 years. It's all these different things.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back to any homecomings or anything?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm still really good friends with, obviously a lot of the people who I hung out with in college, a lot of my sorority sisters. And I mean,
what was the place? Like, I feel like I had friends that went to OU and Miami of Ohio and BG, and there's always this is the place you got to eat this food. Like, what was at Western?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. So the one place that I really miss like all the time is this place called Maggies, and they would do like breakfast stuff, but they had this wrap, and it really was just like chicken and ranch and cheese or whatever. But like it was so good, and I think it was their ranch. I don't know what it was, but I've never. And then like they tore down the building and built like big new apartments in its place because it was just like this old house. And so I don't know. But I think about that a lot. I'm trying to think about what else. Oh my gosh. I did not eat healthy in college at all.
No one does.
I mean,
right.
True.
No one drinks healthy either.
Yes, exactly. No, we had a good time. But that was probably the big one.
BG has such good places. I don't know how often you get down to BG, but Campus Poly Eyes is so good. The breadsticks there. There was this place because I lived there for 2 years. I lived with some buddies in a house 1 year, and then I moved in with my fiance, who's my wife now. And we used to, when we lived together, we used to go to this Greasy Spoon restaurant called Kermit's.
Okay.
And it was,
I feel like I've heard of it.
Real small. It's just a great place for breakfast.
Okay.
We used to go there a lot. There used to be Miles Pizza there, but then that moved.
Okay,
But there was a lot. That's where I got introduced to Pita Pit.
Yes. Oh my God. We had Pita Pit, and I loved Pita Pit.
There's nothing better than a pita at 2 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. There was one in downtown Toledo for a few years, and I don't think they're there anymore.
There was one by the campus. Too, and I don't know if that's there anymore.
Oh my gosh. I loved Pita Pit.
Yeah.
And you thought you were so cool in college. Like, oh, they're making it in front of you.
The best is like, because we used to go there, or we used to go to Mr. Spots, is like a sub place. And my one friend who is 5'9", like $1.50, would always get, let me get fire steak, double fire steak, and double fries. And I'm like, Adam, you never eat. We're drunk having fun. I was like, Adam, you never eat all of this.
Yeah.
But I loved it because I'd eat leftovers all
the
time.
Nice.
So I encouraged it somewhat. So I could get extra food,
exactly.
right?
It's like, no, you should get all of that. You're gonna need it.
But I had a lot of fun. I ultimately graduated from Owens, but I had a lot of fun down there with my friends. And you're right, it's just a good time, And you meet new people. Or in my case, when I lived with my buddies, it was 2 people I knew from high school, and then a guy that they knew. And I always think about it. Like at the time, I didn't think, like, I was just going to work. I worked at Ed Schmidt in Perrysburg. I was a car detailer, and I worked there, and they were all going to school. But it was me who was working. My one roommate was a math major, and the other 2 were biology majors. And I would come home. Now, it's 4 guys in a college town has a whiteboard. Well, you would think there'd be some pretty crude drawings or some stuff on there. No, I always had chemical formations, molecules drawn on there. I'm like, guys, what are we doing here?
That sounds like my husband's college experience. Like, he went to Georgia Tech and was like a very serious, like, I mean, I don't know. But that's pretty much how he describes it. Like, sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I had fun. It was fun, and we still drank, but our parties were very low key, and we all had girlfriends at the time, and sometimes it was just them, or sometimes we'd go to their houses. I think 2 of my roommates, their girlfriends lived together, So we would go over there and hang out. But college was a good time, and I don't know if I would have liked it as much as if I was actually going to college.
Yeah.
I just lived my life and it was fun,
Yeah. That's awesome. I know. Yeah. I definitely, I don't know. I definitely had a good experience.
Yeah. So after college, did you know exactly what you wanted to do?
Yeah. So, well, I majored in film, video, and media studies, and then I had taken a lot of French classes, and so I technically have like a double major.
Oh, really?
In French, but it's just because I was like, well, why not just instead of a minor, like use it? But I don't know. I can't speak it that well. My husband and I went to France a few years ago, and it was so embarrassing. Like, you go to Paris anyway.
Were you like talking like I'm ready for this? Oh yeah, right?
I was trying. Oh my god, he was making fun of me the whole time. Every time he'd get so giddy, like when somebody would come over, like here she goes. I get to laugh at this. And like when you go to Paris anyway, like even if you speak it so fluently, they still just hate you. And it's I love it. I love it. But it was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm Mexican. I don't speak Spanish. My parents do. But there was this friend of mine who I did stand-up comedy with, and she used to tell this joke. She goes, I don't speak Spanish. My parents do, but it was the secret language they used, so they didn't know so we didn't know what they were saying. I go, that's my parents. That's how my parents used it too. And now we don't know it. Yeah.
That's so funny. I know. My dad, so his mom was Italian, like born in Italy, and came over when she was 9, and like none of them can speak a word of Italian because like at the time, like she was like kind of embarrassed about
there was a generation where it's like, no, everyone's just speaking English.
Yes. And I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But it does crack me up because I'm just like you don't know a word of it.
Yeah. So you are so you said you were what is your major again? Film, video, and media studies. But I mean, obviously emphasizing the journalism side of it. And so I went I started working at WTOL. I worked in the web department. And then, but I knew I wanted to be a producer, and like I loved like Mary Tyler Moore and all that. Okay,
so I mean that was kind of whatever. But I got my first job doing the Saturday morning show, so just the worst schedule ever. So I'd go in at like 1 a.m. for Saturday and Sunday, and then you'd have to turn around and work like 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. 3 days during the week. And so, did that for a while. Luckily, it was only like 8 or 9 months. But oh my gosh, people always say, "Oh, you'll get used to it. Just eventually your body adjusts." It doesn't. It does not. I don't know how people do it.
I think
long term.
I'm a firm believer that you're either a first shift, second shift, or third shift person. And like my dad was always a second shift person until my mom's like, "I can't raise these kids by myself. You gotta go to first." And he did it, but it wasn't. He didn't like it.
Really?
Even now, he's retired and he still stays up till 3 a.m. He sleeps till noon, and that's what his life.
It's so funny. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, like some people that's how they adjust.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's great. The world needs everybody to do different things. Yeah. So awesome. Couldn't be me, but.
So you did that for 8 or 9 months?
Yes. And then, I don't remember what show I started doing, but eventually I got the 6 o'clock show.
Okay.
So that was great. And my schedule was a lot better and normal. And I liked it. But I was glad to be getting out when I got out.
Yeah. Was it hard to be a producer? Is it a hard job?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be really stressful sometimes. Yeah. But I definitely, I wouldn't have wanted to do it having a family, you know what I mean? I don't know. It was one of those things where like that stress and then, So, I mean, it was fine when I was young and single, but.
Sure, yeah. Well, I try to think about it now because like I'm producing this podcast as we're talking, right? So every once in a while I look at the screen to make sure everything looks okay. And if it's not, then I'm adjusting things over here. And then there's one more thing I want to add just to make editing easier is there's this video changer you can buy where on the fly, as you're recording, you can type. Like if it's camera one is me and camera 2 is you. When you're talking, I'll hit camera 2, and then it goes to you. And then I'm telling you this like you don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I can flip back and forth. But then it's just one more thing I'm trying to do as I'm also trying to interview somebody.
Yeah,
so I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Well, because that's the thing. I had a director.
Yeah.
So I mean, during the show, I was just focusing on making sure that the time was good and we were whatever. But I mean, it was like obviously a lot of moving parts. Like, what if your reporter can't do the story, and so then you have a minute and a half, a hole in your show that you have to fill, and you're just like, oh no. But I mean, it was fun while it lasted. But
And then, so you became a stay-at-home mother.
Yes.
You're now 3 kids, and I do want to talk about the Parents Club.
Yes.
At Frank. So I always see our kids go to Woodland, so I always see like, oh, here's an email from them or whatever to join and all this stuff, and I always think like I like all that stuff. I just can never do it because of my schedule. Also, I think you know what, I coach high school football. I'm a volunteer basketball coach. I've coached softball for the past 4 years. I was like, I do enough.
Yes.
I need to, in my brain, I need to say, I don't need to do that.
No, I never hold it against people. I mean, I get it. Like everybody has stuff, right? We all have, the same 24 hours in a day. Everybody is so busy. And so, I mean, but we do it, Frank. I mean, oh my gosh. So the woman who was president, her kid now is in 5th grade, so she's not anymore. But she did it for like 8 years and she was incredible. I mean, she just set up it's like a well-oiled machine, basically just us, calling the people that she, found. It's amazing. And so, we have great parents too who always volunteer. And I mean, even, people will donate if they can. I mean,
that's what I try to do too.
We just have a great community at Frank. And I feel like it's like that at all of our schools. But I mean, obviously I'm biased. And we're probably moving to Toth next year. So
they are redistricting.
I'm bummed. I'm trying to stay positive. But yes, I am obviously sad. But I also have already gotten in contact with them and been like, hi, I'll be there.
I'll help. Oh man. Yeah, I would imagine that would be you, and I think you'll be fine. Yeah. And your kids will be fine, and everything will be okay.
Hopefully, I know. My oldest, she's like me and whatever. She'll be okay. My 5-year-old is the one but she also kind of just goes with whatever her sister does. Like, so as long as she's fine.
At this point, she's only been at Frank for 1 year, though.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they went to preschool and then moved on. So it's not like the transition is crazy to them.
She used to be like, well, every year we just go to a new school.
Pretty much. That's kind of what it feels like. I don't know. I know, and our neighborhood is kind of weird and random, so it is kind of one of those situations where it was like they just had to stick us somewhere, so I get it. But I don't know. I wish I could stay at Frank. If anybody has any pull.
Do you, as a stay-at-home mom, do you like to cook?
No. Oh my God, no.
Are you forced to cook?
No. My husband is really good at it, and he is like really into like I want to have like a really good dinner every night. Like I could just do like girl dinner, like throw some stuff on the table, like whatever.
Pops up in the air fryer or something.
Yeah. No, he's like we need to. Like right now he's making like a whole stew that he found this recipe. And so I mean it works really well for us.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I like to cook too.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, obviously. Basically, from August until now, it's hard to do because I have football practice and then basketball. Yeah, so it's a little difficult. But I enjoy it. I like to find new recipes. I have a smoker, so I like to smoke.
Nice.
For the Super Bowl, I smoked a rack of ribs and some chicken wings. So, So I enjoy it, and I think partly because, in my brain, I'm like, I just don't want to spend money on eating out again.
Yeah.
It's fun. I enjoy it and it's good. But I want to do this.
No, we're kind of the same way. And I mean, I don't know. I'm so embarrassed about it because it's like just the simplest things I cannot get right. And I'm just like, man, I wish I could do.
Well, it's not, that's why you found each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It works.
Everyone has what they do.
I do breakfast. I do breakfast and I can bake. But cooking is not my thing. Oh my gosh, banana bread.
I love it.
Like we always have bananas to make banana bread. I'll buy like extras so that we can have it.
I did a smoked banana bread last year.
How does that work?
So I peeled the bananas and smoked them first, and then I made everything and put it in the pan, bread pan or whatever, loaf pan. And then put that in the smoker. This is the
most fascinating thing I've ever heard. I would never have even thought about. Okay,
it was so good. The only thing is, I only did it once, but now if I do it again, I need to turn the heat down because the bottom got a little burnt.
Okay,
just because it's a grill, so it's a little different.
Right.
But it was awesome. I loved it, and I try to do all different. I did smoked bacon wrapped honey buns.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do a lot of stuff like that because it's fun. But there was a time where I was baking bread one winter, like just Italian bread. That was fun too. But besides, what other things do you like besides banana bread?
I mean,
or are there requests your kids like?
Yeah, we do a lot of cookies, and then brownies. I found this really good brownie recipe a few years ago, and it's just, I don't know, like, it's so weird. Like, the frosting on it, you use honey and powdered sugar, but oh my God, it's so good. And then I'll add chocolate chips in there just to make it extra.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So, really healthy things like that.
So you're a baker around Christmas time? Like, is there like a thing you like, all these cookies or all this thing?
No, not so much. I mean, just kind of random things throughout the year. And then, like, I'm really big into like doing like waffles and pancakes from scratch. And then like my husband on the Blackstone, we have like the little, the dispenser for the pancake batter, so we can make like 20 at a time.
Yeah, those things are cool. You just move along, keep putting them
We'll
out.
have the neighborhood kids over in the summer. We're like, just come on over. You guys can eat out on the patio. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like you're really involved in the Parents Club, and obviously you're involved in your kids' lives because you're at home and you help them with all that stuff. And now you want to get more involved in the city council. How did you like, you know what, I'm going to run for city council?
So, the end of last year, I just kind of was looking for ways to get more involved in the community. And my kids are getting a little bit older, and I want them to see me doing things that I care about. And like I said, like, there's this natural nosiness and want to be involved. And so I got on the board of zoning appeals for the city. And so
how does one become a part of that?
You just, you email and you email a resume and you say, hey, I'm interested in doing this. And then they, let you know if you're going to do it. It's a lot simpler than you think it would be. But yeah, I mean, I got involved with that. And so we meet once a month. And then I found out that there were going to be openings on council, and I kind of went back and forth about it for a while because, I mean, it is one of those things like, do I really want to do this? I don't know. But I just decided, why not? I care. I represent a demographic that's not represented right now on council. There's only one woman currently on our city council out of 7 people.
I was say, how many are there?
Yeah. Okay. And so, she owns a business in town, Carrie Wellstein. She owns Create Art Studio downtown.
Yeah.
She's so awesome. Love her. She's the art studio. It's so funny because my girls, they love taking classes there. And I found out she owned it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah. She's the only woman. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, and so I have that perspective, and just like kids in the schools, obviously right now that's, a big focus for a lot of us. I just thought, why not?
So is there like one thing that you're like, you know what, I want to try to change this?
I mean, definitely I want to find more ways for us to kind of get a little more aggressive about economic development and increasing our tax base. I mean, there's a lot of projects in the works that could be great, and I definitely want to help move those forward. I am very into more multi-use paths around town. Okay. There's also some projects going on with those, but I would definitely like to see more. Just we have a great city. We really do. We love, my husband and I, we love it here. We're so proud to live here. Right now the city's budget is healthy, and crime is down 17%, and emergency call times are down. And so there's really good momentum going that we can build on. And I just think we have a lot of potential, and I want to be a part of it.
Can you, I always think about running for something. I live in a township, so I can't run for anything in the city.
Yeah.
But then it's hard to like, all right, let's say you're running for city council, and then like, I don't know if I could handle like, well, she's terrible at this, or she doesn't know what this, like, do you ever think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I left the Perrysburg Facebook group. I'm like, people will probably say whatever. Oh, and that's fine. And that's not my business. But we'll see. I don't know. That was another reason I never wanted to be on air, right? Like, I don't know. People would literally call the station and be like, that anchor looks fat today.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, people do just say whatever. And so, I don't know. We'll see.
Can you see yourself like, you know what? That guy's an idiot. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Are there, you don't have to say, but are there current members of city council where you're like, that person doesn't belong there?
No, honestly, right now, I've talked to everybody. I've sat down or called, talked on the phone with everybody, and they all, I mean, they really do care. They all really are, working hard and on their, respective committees.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't have anything.
You just want to be a part of it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I have a lot to offer.
Sure.
And so, yeah.
So I know Rick Reddig. He was my guidance counselor when I was in high school.
Okay.
And then I've just known him, because we live in Perrysburg and everything. So I enjoy talking to him. He's been on. I think he's been on here. Shoot, I can't even remember now. I think he has. He was when I was doing Zoom stuff through.
Yeah.
COVID.
He's so nice.
But I don't know. I know the mayor too, just because he coaches basketball, boys basketball. So I'm very, very like on a far away level, but I talk to him. But I don't know any of the other ones to know like, oh, this person's doing well, or this person's not doing well for the city, or any of that kind of stuff.
I think, I mean, I don't know, with a lot of people, they don't really know a lot about maybe their elected officials or whatever. And so, I mean, that's been kind of like my Facebook page. I've been kind of trying to encourage people, you can watch everything online. We stream everything. I mean, the quality is not the best, but
well, maybe you can fix that.
Yes. Well,
you can produce a new.
Yes, maybe. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, just I don't know. There is like there is something to a well-run government. You don't hear a lot about it. It's not exciting, and it is just kind of quiet. And people just doing their jobs. And
I just think people will probably ask you, much like I did, like, all right, if you want to go on, that means you want to fix something. I mean, maybe that's not the case all the time, but for the most time, it's like, I want to do this because I feel like we can do better here. Or we can do better in this space or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, I feel like everybody's saying that, but I feel like it's kind of top of mind right now is just economic development and getting more business in and getting, money in that. I mean, it's not going to fix the schools. That is not the
help
answer. But yes, it'll help. And I think, obviously, I again, as a parent who has kids in the schools, like that's probably my biggest focus right now.
So, right?
I mean,
I mean, everybody that does a job, whatever it is, or volunteers for this thing has a selfish purpose, right? And selfish is kind of can be a negative thing, but you can't help it. Like, I might vote for this thing because I voted for the schools because my kids are in the schools. I'm employed by the school when I like that's why I did it, because I feel like they're doing a good job and I want to support that. And I'm part of that. Same thing with like the levy that we put up for Metro Parks. Like I can't vote on that because it's in Lucas County, but people will vote for it because I use the park every day, or my kids use the program. So there's always like a selfish component to whatever that is. So you having a focus on like, well, because I want to do this because it's going to better my kid's future. That's just part of it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. When our community is doing better, my family's doing better, right? So, I mean, that's, there's nothing wrong with saying that out loud. I think everybody feels that way. I don't know. But that I think everybody who has a kid in the schools right now is thinking, it's hard not to think about the schools. So,
So do you have like, because I've never done anything like this before, do you have like plans for like, oh, I'm gonna show up at this thing, or I'm gonna be in this parade, or I'm gonna like do all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be dragging my kids around a lot. I'm going to obviously be doing the parades and doing, I mean, I'm gonna start to have probably when it gets a little nicer out, like meetups where people can come and talk and ask me whatever they want to ask, and trying to think of what else right now that we have planned, but just stuff like that.
Do you have like a campaign manager?
No.
Is that just you?
It's just me. It's just me.
I'm just curious on what that looks like.
I know.
Like I said, I've never done anything before, so
I know.
All that's very interesting to me.
I haven't done this either, and that's what's so funny is like, obviously working in news, you see the other side of it, and like, so being on this side, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is all new.
Well, if you need any card magnets or T-shirts or any of that kind of stuff, I recommend Big Daddy Graphics.
Yeah.
They have helped me a lot. They always, last year the freshman girls basketball team was league champs, so they made us shirts.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They're very.
We
they're
work
very
with them at Frank.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad too, because a lot of schools do, but some schools don't use them or might use a bigger like chain thing.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy Rex and Mindy over there. Like they do a great job.
Yeah.
So
they did
that's
these
good to hear.
shirts for Frank because we have the service dog this year. And so they did like an outline of a lab on the shirts. And
Oh,
it's so cute.
nice.
So it was a good way to incorporate Liv
Yeah.
into the shirts. But yeah, they're great.
Yeah. So if you need it, especially because I was thinking about getting in one of the parades too for my podcast, just getting those big magnets of my face and putting it on the side of my dad's truck and rolling through there. Because there's some parades that you don't even have to, like, some you have to pay, and some you're just like, yeah, you can just show up and be in the parade.
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. You learn a lot about how these things run. That's for sure.
Yeah. So is there, if there's, one thing before we wrap up here is that you could just tell everyone about like what do you think is important for you or for people when the time comes to vote for you?
I guess, yeah, I'm a member of the community who really cares and who wants to make things better for all of us. I really mean it when I say that. Again, like I said, when we're all doing better, my family's doing better. And I really just want to take the momentum that we have right now and just add to that. And I think I'll be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. When is the election for this?
The election's in November.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that seems very quick.
Really? You think?
Yeah.
I keep telling myself it seems far away, but it's not. And I don't know why. Like, it will sneak it right up on me. But yeah.
Well, I'm sure I'll see you at the parades. My daughter tours on all the Perrysburg parades. So I'll say hello to you as you're handing out your pamphlets or pencils or whatever you decide. That's a thing too, is like, what's a cool thing that someone's just not going to immediately throw away that you can have your name on?
I have thought about that. I have done a lot of thinking about that. Yes.
I recommend as stuff that hung around our house, especially with little kids, any type of ball. Because that will stay in a house because a kid will like it.
Yes.
And it'll just be in a house.
They do. They certainly do stick around. I can vouch for that.
Anything that makes noise will be immediately gone. Right? As a mom, I'm sure you're well aware.
It's like, I don't know, we must have lost it. I don't know.
So keep those in mind as you're looking for merch. Again, thank you for coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
As it gets closer, you can feel free to reach out and you can come back on here and we can talk some more about what's happening. So thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. If you want to reach out or be on the show, just search the Nerdball Podcast on any social media. If you want to email us, that is thenerdballpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, there's always YouTube, so you can go on there, subscribe to the Nerdball Podcast, and watch the podcast every week. As always, thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuddlefish Graphics, Big Daddy Graphics, and Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab for always supporting the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.